Hello again, everyone. My name is Mark Walmsley, and I'm the founder of the Arts and Culture Network. We're a growing global community of approaching 160,000 now, all over the world, across our 8 arts and culture LinkedIn groups. And of course, I don't get to meet everyone, but when I do, it's a delight. And so Beth Prevor has joined me today. Beth is one of our full members, for which we're very grateful. And this is my chance to allow her to say hi to you guys and tell us about the work that she's doing. And then we're going to have some fun. I'm going to create Beth's fantasy cultural year from the answers to 10 easy questions to which there are no wrong answers. So that's the plan today. This will go on our YouTube channel. There'll be a profile about Beth on our website. We'll go on SoundCloud and Spotify, our video podcast on Spotify, and of course, LinkedIn and our other socials. So excellent. Beth, thank you very much for joining me today.
My pleasure.
I've been looking forward to this one, given the work that you do. So tell us a little bit more about it.
Sure. Hi, everybody. My name is Beth Prevor. I am the co-founder and executive director of Hands-On Sign Interpreted Performances. We are a very small nonprofit organization that's been around for 40 plus years. We're based in New York City, the USA. What we do is we do sign language interpreted performances. So we work with a variety of theaters, primarily nonprofit theaters in New York City, but we have kind of expanded over the last few years to do more commercial Broadway interpreted performances. Generally, we are hired by the theater to produce all the aspects of their interpreted performances. And this is for the deaf and hard of hearing communities in New York City. I myself am a person with a disability. I have a mobility disability. I have been involved in accessibility in New York City for many years. That really is my primary personal position and work that I've been doing for many, many years. I work with a lot of different organizations. I am also probably a little bit of an Anglophile, if that's the right terminology. I did a course during the pandemic on audiences and participation at the University of Leeds. So I'm always looking for, opportunities to kind of spread the word about accessibility in the arts for all people with disabilities, even though our primary focus has been deaf and hard of hearing audiences. I'm looking at ways that we can expand and make services easier, better, more attainable for all people with disabilities. Being based in New York City, it's just that we're the cultural, I probably shouldn't be saying this to you people in the UK, but we're kind of considered the cultural capital of the world. We have a lot of arts organizations here, and I work with a variety of different groups to try to make accessibility much more achievable and easier for people with disabilities in the arts. How about that?
That's great. What a lovely summary. Thank you for that. Now, you must have helped and supported thousands of people in your career, either directly or indirectly. So on behalf of them all, thank you very much for the work that you're doing. You reminded me of a program on British television a few years ago. 4 celebrities were given wheelchairs and tried to, they were able-bodied, but they were given wheelchairs and they had to navigate Edinburgh in Scotland in a wheelchair.
I've been there, so I know.
Yeah.
I know there was a challenge.
Well, they went to one pub and they couldn't get in because there was no ramp. And they interviewed the owner of the pub and they said, why don't you have a ramp? And he said, because we don't get many disabled people in here. Hello.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I live in New York City, which is probably equally challenging. I mean, maybe not as hilly as Edinburgh, but it really is a challenge to kind of navigate. I understand and respect the idea that we have many inaccessible buildings in New York City. A lot of the issue too is just information, finding the information. I've always kind of thought that, decisions about getting in and out of buildings or how we access places are individual decisions. I can sometimes get in, sometimes I can't get in. But if I have the information, then it's my decision to make. And I think that part of a lot of this, inaccessibility issue is just give me the information. If you give me the information, then I can decide. If you don't give me the information and I show up and it's not accessible, then and I've had that situation many times. It's very disheartening and upsetting to assume something that's not there when you get there. And
Mm.
so, and sometimes, as you said in Edinburgh, a little ramp is so easy. And then letting people know that there's a ramp is the other part of the equation. It's not just putting something in, it's then having that information either on your website or, letting people know that this is what we have will hopefully then achieve the idea that people will come. So
Yeah.
it's absolutely right what you said. It's like nobody comes because they can't get in.
Yeah. No, that it's great that you're doing so much wonderful work highlighting this. I listened to a radio program the other day which has some kind of relevance here, in that it was a travel show, and it was the problem was that hotels are not obliged to have a uniform standard way of describing the level of accessibility. So the person who was interviewed was trying to find a holiday destination for her family, one of whom was wheelchair bound, and had to go to hundreds of different hotel websites to find this information out. And had there been one standard or a level that you can say that you've achieved, or one website that lists all of them that are accessible, that you're right, the information is the first and the most important thing, because then you're right, people can make decisions. So
And I will say, just kind of following up on that, it's exhausting sometimes. It's exhausting on our end, my end, to look for the information, ask the questions. Is there a bathroom? I mean, we have laws in the United States, as you have in England, for disability, for accessibility, but it's still something that I need to make sure that I can get to a bathroom. And, finding the information means that I have to call, I have to try to contact every place I go to, whether it's a restaurant or a theater or, a venue, to find out what the accessibility is, because I don't want to be surprised. And I don't want to be, get there and just go, oh, and by the way, the bathroom is down a flight of steps, which I can't do. So it really is something that the onus is put on us to kind of look for the information, which again, I think is why I'm interested in these types of networks. I'm not based in the UK, but I know the work that you've done, and I know the network is a network of people all over the world, is to try to, whether it's to try to find like-minded people or just get information out so that people start thinking about accessibility in whatever they do in a different way. So it's not an add-on, or it's not, something that we think about after, but we start thinking about it as we're doing things.
yeah, and it's fascinating because accessibility is a broad spectrum, isn't it? Accessibility for those with mobility issues is just one part of that. Access to the arts is crucial. There was a saying, there are two sayings that I often quote. One is, talent is everywhere, opportunity is not. And the other, you'll have heard these, I'm sure. The other is, the best violinist in the world never picked up a violin. The inference is that had they been given the opportunity to become the best violinist in the world had ever seen, and that same is true right across the arts, there'll be painters and sculptors out there who were never given the opportunity to try. And that's a broader accessibility challenge. But in our sector, the arts and culture sector, we are the best place to save the world. And boy, does it need saving at the moment. And
Absolutely. Absolutely.
excuse me. Yeah, we don't depend on language to the same extent as other sectors do. And not only do we accept difference, we thrive on it in the arts, because it would be pretty dull if it was all the same. So yes, we're hosting a conference next April the Cultural Age Conference, because there are signs that suggest we're moving out of an economic age into a cultural age. And that's really quite exciting. So we're going to help it along a bit and make it a self-fulfilling prophecy. I mean, you hear terms now like soft power. Nations and cities are turning themselves into cultural hubs because it's their form of international diplomacy. There are some cities and countries who are renowned for their culture. In Berlin, for example, I think things might have changed slightly, but in Berlin, have a guess what the annual budget is for supporting the arts and culture in Berlin alone.
I'm trying to think, is it high or low? I would think
It's ridiculously high.
high. I was going to say, I think they're really kind of like moving up.
Yeah, it's 900 million euros.
Wow.
For one city in Germany, and that is more than the entire Arts Council budget for the United Kingdom. It's and my brother is a cellist and he lives and works in Berlin and he gets free childcare because he works in the arts.
Oh my God, that's fantastic.
And in
Yeah,
the UK, we're proud of ourselves in the UK as well, to a certain extent, because we were the pioneers of social prescribing. You know, a doctor in the UK can prescribe a trip to an art therapy class, and it's paid for by the National Health Service.
oh my God,
Yeah,
that's fantastic. Listen, coming from the United States here, I mean, as probably everybody knows, I mean, we're getting the cuts. I mean, our National Endowment for the Arts is cutting, definitely foundations. So, and I think our arts budget is probably point something of a percent. It's so minuscule, what's allocated for the arts, and even that's being cut. So,
yeah. Well, in
it's
the UK, the government produced a report that confirmed that the arts and culture sector made more money for the British Treasury than sport did.
I mean, same thing here. I mean, I think the economics of what culture, provides is huge. Yet we provide for culture and arts is such a teeny percentage, and even that's being cut. I mean,
Yeah,
everything is just being challenged here, about what people are doing. And I think what's happening now is the cultural organizations are trying to band together to figure out ways to kind of support each other.
yeah.
We're not getting support from
Well,
outside.
there is also the thorny issue of immigration as well, and I was chatting to somebody who was rather extremely right wing about immigration controls and deportations and things like that, even in the UK. Not that we tend to do that much, but I pointed out that if Freddie Mercury and his family had not been welcomed in the UK when they were fleeing Zanzibar as refugees, we would not have Bohemian Rhapsody now.
Yeah, it's hard time. We live in very challenging, hard
We
times.
do, we do. Right. Well, there we go. We could chat for hours, I'm sure. But right, we're going to have this fun now. So I need to place you somewhere in the world. And I'm going to do that by asking you, what's your favorite building?
Wow, favorite building. Um, let's see. Uh, what's my favorite building? Well, let's say Carnegie Hall. I mean, it's a
Lovely.
beautiful building, but oh no, you know what? Go back. Go do Lincoln Center.
Lincoln Center.
Yeah.
I've played in both.
Okay.
The triangle on both occasions.
Okay.
But it was professional. Right, Lincoln Center. We're in the Lincoln Center. For the benefit of those watching who are not familiar, I'm going to show the Lincoln Center for the Performing Arts. Here it is. We had one of our New York meetups there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. What our ambassador in New York, Jasmine Sandler, hosted 18 members for drinks. So I'm just going to, I'll put you in touch with her because I think,
Yes, please.
yes, you'd like to see her. So there we go. There's the Lincoln Center in all its beauty.
Yep.
Yeah, fantastic. So I'd like you to imagine, Beth, that you're
Yeah.
sitting somewhere here, that looks like an artist's impression, but let's use this one instead. So here we are at the Lincoln Center. I'd like you to imagine you're sitting at a pop-up cafe in the terrace here. And excuse me. And it's 6 p.m. on a June evening. It's nice and sunny. And you're sitting down and there is a drink next to you. What would we find there?
Oh, a drink. Probably a glass of red wine.
Very nice. And there's a book nestling on the table next to you. It could be your favorite book. It could be a book that's been with you all your life, or it could be a recent discovery. What book might we find there next to you?
Well, I just finished a book that I just loved, so I'll say Tom Lake.
Tom Lake. Is that the
Yeah.
title of the book?
Yes.
Let's see who that's by. Do you recall?
Anne Patchett.
There we go. The Sunday Times bestseller, a BBC Radio 2 and Reese Witherspoon book club pick. Anne Pratchett. Yeah. Tom Lake. Tom Lake is a 2023 novel by Anne Pratchett. It was published by Harper in 2023. The book relates the story of three daughters who yearn to know about their mother's youthful relationship with a famous actor. I'm hooked already. There we go. Thank you. That's a great choice. Now you're feeling quite pleased with yourself because you've just come from a meeting in the Lincoln Center with a wealthy New York family foundation who support the arts with lots of money.
Wow.
They've heard about the work that you've been doing for the last 30 or 40 years and your determination to make the arts accessible, especially to those who are deaf or hard of hearing. They would like to hire you for a year. Okay. The fee is enormous. Okay. It's first class travel all the way. They would like you to do a research trip all over the world and create a league table based on how different countries accommodate those who are deaf and hard of hearing with support services like you, so that they can invest in the ones that need a bit of help. Okay. Does that sound like fun?
I'm ready to travel. I'm like ready to pack my bags.
Excellent. Now there is a book deal in it for you. A TV crew will follow you because there's going to be a TV series about it. You get to do a TED talk when you get back, and you can spend the following year doing a global university lecture tour about your findings.
Did somebody do this? This is like fantastic.
People have said, Mark, please set up a travel agency.
I was going to say, this is like, this would be, that's like so great. I'm like ready to.
You will become, through doing this and the media exposure that it provides, the go-to commentator on accessibility in the arts. You'll be on radio shows, TV sofas, the whole thing, and your work will be recognized with honors all over the world. There we go. So all you need to do is to decide where you're going to start. So we're currently at the Lincoln Center. You can choose any city in any country. Where are we going?
Well, I guess I would. Am I allowed to kind of like start in the United States, or do I have to like start in the world?
No, you can go anywhere you like.
Yeah, I would start going west. So I would start going to places like Chicago. I would pick hubs across the United States. So I would pick, New York, like the Midwest, to go to Chicago. Then I would go to LA and places there. And then I guess I would hop back to the UK. So
okay, sounds good. So you're on the plane to Chicago. You turned left when you got on the plane because you're traveling first class.
Yeah.
The steward brings you two things, a lovely glass of red wine and a note from the Wealthy Family Foundation back in New York, who have a challenge for you. They would like you to limit your musical listening to one very specific genre of music for 12 months, to the exclusion of all else. In those circumstances, Beth, what would you choose?
Broadway show tunes.
Broadway show tunes. I love it. Okay. Any particular favorites?
I have that's what I have on my iPhone. So it's all different. I hear a song from a Broadway show. So, I love Stephen Sondheim, so I have many Sondheim shows
Mm.
my on my phone.
I love the Into the Woods movie. That's I love that. That's so
I Into the Woods, I have Assassins, I have, Merrily We Roll Along. I love Stephen Sondheim.
yeah. I studied percussion at the Guildhall School of Music and Drama in London, and in my fourth year, Leonard Bernstein came to conduct us.
Wow.
Yeah, we were performing his mass, which
Oh
is
my
very
God.
rarely performed because it requires so much space. But yeah, so I got to shake the hand. That was
Wow. Oh my God.
great.
I got to see Stephen Sondheim right before he actually passed away. I was at a performance of Company, which was the last show, and he was in the audience.
Mm,
It was exciting.
fantastic. That's great. Um, right. So where are we? We arrive in Chicago, the Windy City,
Good.
and a group of theatre professionals, actors, meet you at the airport. They're taking you under their wing. They're going to whisk you into a lovely loft apartment overlooking the river. And they say, right, unpack, relax. We're going to come back. We're going to take you to a dance performance, and then we're going to take you out to dinner. Okay. Now, this is where the magic wand and the time machine come in, because I can put any dance performance you like on the stage in front of you. It can be any dancers, living or not, any group, any style. What would you like me to put on the stage that's a dance-based performance?
Well, dance is not necessarily my background, but I remember when I think I was in college. I loved Twyla Tharp.
Twyla Tharp.
Yeah, I don't know if she's known, and she was a very kind of funky dancer. And I remember seeing her like many times.
There we go. Oh,
Got her?
yeah. An American dancer, choreographer, and author who lives and works in New York City. In '65, she formed the company Twyla Tharp Dance, which merged with American Ballet Theatre in 1988. She regrouped the company in '91. Her work often uses classical jazz and contemporary pop music. Yes, so that's Twyla Tharp, Tharp, if anyone would like to explore. Thank you. I shall be looking at some of that.
Yeah, it's very funky. So, but it was like so much fun to watch her.
Mm, fantastic. And out to dinner, you get to choose the national cuisine. What are we eating?
Oh, let's see, food. Well, if we're going out, then I would like, kind of French cuisine dish. Just
Nice.
regular, yeah, just like, a nice.
We're taking you to a three-star Michelin
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
restaurant
Like,
in,
yeah.
yeah, perfect. Now we're going to buzz again to a different city. Where are we going?
I'm trying to think. I just actually came from San Francisco, so let's go to San Francisco.
Perfect.
Now we're going west.
Now it's sport day in the United States. Okay, when you arrive, we had breakdancing in the Olympics last year, so some sport constitutes performance art. If you had to watch sport for 2 hours, what would you love to watch?
Well, I'm not a big sports person, but the only thing that I really understand is baseball. So I would say a baseball game.
Okay, great. I went to the Yankee Stadium when I was in New York, when I was much younger, but I've never learnt the rules. It's a little bit like you guys and cricket, So there we go. Excellent. Now we're going to buzz again. So San Francisco, where are we going next?
Well, now we're hopping over. So I'm going to see you. We're going to the UK.
Come to the UK. Excellent. That's perfect because we're going out together every night for a week. Okay. And on Monday, we're going to a historical musical concert back in time.
Mm.
Tuesday, we're going to a theatre play. Wednesday, we're going to a West End musical. Thursday, we're going to the opera, and Friday, we're going to the movies. And
Wow.
between us, we get to choose what we're going to see. So for Monday, I'd like to know, is there a musical performance that you would love to go back in time to re-experience?
I mean, I would say, I do love like classical music. So, a small ensemble of class. I don't know really a name, but just a small, is that enough? Like just a
Yeah,
class.
Why don't we go to see the Mozart players in candlelight?
That would be lovely.
Yeah. Tuesday, theatre play. You can see anything.
I mean, I guess I would go see Shakespeare at the
At the
Globe.
Globe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which play would you like to see?
Well, I just saw when was I there? I was there last year. I think we saw Midsummer's Night's Dream,
Hmm.
which was like amazing. So
Midsummer Night's Dream is
yeah.
perfect. And a West End musical on Wednesday.
Oh, let's see. Uh, let's see is it something that's playing there now, or it's just anything
No,
that?
anything you like. We have a time machine.
Oh my gosh. Let's see. These are hard questions because there's like so much. And I'm trying to think like I don't want to see Hamilton there. I can see Hamilton here, but what's a big um what was a big Broadway musical? I mean, we have so many big Broadway musicals here. It's hard to think,
Mm,
but what's there? Oh, like Hello Dolly. Like I just like these big.
love it. Yeah. Hello, Dolly, it is. Are you an opera fan, Beth?
I'm not, so that
So
would
I'm
be
going to suggest we go to the Royal Opera House in Covent Garden for Puccini's Tosca.
I that sounds good.
They're doing it again there soon.
Yeah.
Um, I'm trying to get to go. So Friday is the end of our week and it's movie night. We've got
Ooh.
the best seats in the house at a big IMAX surround sound thing. Not quite as impressive as the Sphere in Las Vegas, but
I know. I listen. I'm going to try to go see that. They've been advertising it here with the Wizard of Oz there,
oh
and it's. I have some friends, she friends, and we've talked about. Excuse me, going. Excuse me. So yeah, I want to go there. So
yeah, that would be great. I've seen snippets of I think the Backstreet Boys played there and used that as the backdrop. So
somebody saw the Grateful Dead in the Sphere.
mm,
I met him. He said it was amazing. Like
I
being.
would love to see it. I mean, the only thing that comes close to that for us in London is the ABBA Voyage, where
Mhm.
they have sort of holographic stuff going on, but it's very good. I haven't seen it yet, but it's good.
The Wizard of
Hey,
Oz, they have the wind machines, and when you're up in
mm,
the tornado, it's like there's wind blowing, there's things flying. So I'm gonna try to go.
yeah, that would be great. Excellent. So we're nearly there, and I'm going to send you off on your travels. But before I do, I'm going to give you a hero lunch. So we're still in London, going to find a really nice French restaurant. I've booked a nice leisurely 2-hour lunch, and you can invite anyone you want. Okay, any one person, living or not, famous or otherwise, and they will come, and you'll be able to chew their ear off for a couple of hours. Um, Picking their brains. Who would you love to have a one-to-one lunch with?
Well, since I just kind of mentioned him, I would say Stephen Sondheim. I would love to have a conversation with him about his his process, his songs, his. I feel like I've seen just about every one of his shows,
Mm,
so I think that would be fun.
that would be great. And then a slight twist to that question, who do you think Stephen Sondheim would invite?
Oh gosh. Um, I I think didn't he work with Oscar Hammerstein? I mean, I think that's who
Mm,
he Oscar Hammerstein was like his mentor, and he lived with him when he was younger. So
yeah,
I that would be a great,
wouldn't it?
yeah,
Wouldn't you like to be a fly on that wall?
yeah.
There we go. Beth, thank you so much. That's your fantasy cultural year. As I said, you get the TED Talk, the TV series, the book deal, the university lecture tour.
That's a great, thought process to think that would be terrific.
It would be, wouldn't it? Um,
Yeah.
so wherever this appears, we'll write a profile about you and the work that you do. Um, and then it'll be promoted to our other members quite heavily. And this has been a delight. It's a lovely way to pull out anecdotes and preferences and surprises. So have you enjoyed your fantasy culture
I
year?
have. It was fun. It's hard. It's harder than you think to kind of come up with like one place, one thing, one show.
Yeah. Well, you
And
did a great job, and we now feel as though we know you a bit better than we did. So, Beth, please don't rush off. But for the time being, thank you so much for joining me for doing it and for doing this today and for being one of our valued full members. It's very much appreciated.
well, it's my pleasure. I'm glad to support the organization, the group.
Thank you so much.